guys, it's OTAs.
It is.
That's football.
So, yeah,
Like,
it's the official
it's
kickoff.
back. It's back.
It's the kickoff of the. That's right.
We
Thank
are
you,
back.
Manny. Yes.
We are back.
Yes,
and,
sir.
the media is going to be allowed into OTA practice tomorrow. So I will be out there OTAing. And
how much access does the media have at OTA? Or I shouldn't say access to the media. How much is the media allowed to give to us, the people? Because some franchises are very, very strict on what you can put out there. The Packers won't let you put anything out live or even close to it happening.
Mhm.
Like if you film practice, you have to wait till after practice is over before you put anything up. And they're even very selective about what parts of practice they'll let you tape. How open are the Vikings?
So we can watch all of practice, and I think during OTAs and training camp, we can tweet during practice if you want to. I'm not sure why you'd want to unless someone got hurt. I think you can during OTAs and training camp. I think they're pretty.
You don't want to hear about the
cool
fifth
about
round
that.
wide receiver who beats the cornerback with no safety help, who everybody loves that day?
Now there was a great OTA moment for me last year, so I think that this is okay that you can take video and tweet during practice, where Brian O'Neill lined up as a tight end and was taking some reps at the goal line. So they were practicing throwing Brian O'Neill, the tackle, little passes into the end zone. And I took the video and it got a bunch of retweets of like, oh, secret weapon.
Oh, you see, the Packers would never let you put that out. Never, ever.
Well, so Chip Scoggins from the Star Tribune was standing next to me at the time. And I said, all right, Chip, let's make a bet right here. Over under 0.5 touchdowns scored by Brian O'Neill this season. And he's like, man, I think they use it once. Like, no way. There's no chance they're throwing a pass to Brian O'Neill, because he did do it in college. They threw him a pass for a touchdown, and lo and behold, 0 touchdowns.
Did
for
you
Brian
put a stake
O'Neill.
on it with Chip, or
I don't remember what it was, but things like that, little side bets, are definitely a staple of OTAs because it's OTAs. I mean, but as far as what they let you see, yeah, it's pretty. You can watch the entire practice. It's not limited in OTAs or in training camp. In the regular season, that's where you literally only go out and watch stretching to see who's out there.
Right.
And that's it.
And that's
there's only 10 minutes of practice that you get to see. And
you watch grown men in shorts stretching.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stretching, and there's a little throwing the football around. There is one of my favorite parts is the red ball. The linebackers work with a big
I've heard you talk about the red ball before.
Yeah, it gets very exciting for me when they bring out the red ball. So they'll be sort of shuffling their feet as if they're in coverage, and then someone will throw the red ball at them and they knock it down. And I don't know what it does for them, and I think this is going to be my long form piece.
I think it should be
at least 11,000 words.
I would guess just reaction time. Because
maybe. I really don't know.
For a stunt, like if there's a tackle or a linebacker coming off the corner that you didn't see, you want to be able to react and fend him off. I would imagine that's what they're doing that for.
I'm seriously going to find this out.
I want you to find this out.
That's
my theory.
Really funny.
Yeah.
Someone just whipping a giant red ball at some linebackers. And
I want to do that drill. You think they'll let us do that drill?
I mean,
I'll be the guy who gets the
is a red ball.
No, I want to do it at Vikings practice.
I mean, they might.
I want it, and you could be the guy who whips the red ball at me. I'll be the target.
I don't know if they want you to use their apparatuses that they have out there.
Careful. OTAs are kicking off today, and that's when you need to freshen up. You need to get back in the books, Matthew Coller, and start remembering stuff like your hot routes. And that's where we start today with hot routes.
Yeah.
Matthew Coller has hot routes for us. Questions for Manny Hill.
All right, so hot routes, which I want to make a staple of Purple Daily, is just some things that are being reported around the league, and I have questions for you guys relating to these things.
Okay.
So if we want some NFL music.
Oh, yeah, I have hot routes music for you right now, baby.
Awesome. Oh, perfect.
I love it.
All right, hot routes. Blue. 37. First one. All right.
Am I supposed to know what that means, or just answer the question?
Yes, you are.
Just a
Have
cadence.
you not been
It's just a
studying your
cadence.
playbook? What are you doing?
It's the first day of camp, man.
Yeah, you're right. You should have been, studying the playbook all off season, but we'll give you a pass.
Ramie
here.
doesn't study in the offseason. I'm like a deep wide receiver.
All right, first hot route. 42. ESPN ranked the Vikings as the 6th most locked in to their quarterback, Kirk Cousins, because of his contract. Naturally, teams who have their quarterbacks under long-term contracts that they couldn't cut them or trade them or move them are on this list, and then quarterbacks that you're not locked into, let's say Ryan Fitzpatrick for the Dolphins, are down the list. They're rated lower.
Okay.
Where will the Vikings rank in this next year? How locked into their quarterback they are? Clearly, since Kirk Cousins is under contract for this season and next season, they're locked in right now. Where will they rank next year?
I think much lower on the list. Do you want an exact number, or can I just say much lower on the list?
You can say much lower.
Because with 1 year left on the contract, if the Vikings really want to shop him, you might be able to find a trade suitor for Kirk Cousins, because that $29 million guaranteed suddenly doesn't look as intimidating to a team who would take on that contract, because you're planning on him playing for you for at least 1 year anyways when you trade for him. So it's $29 million guaranteed one way or another. So I think that they go way down that list next year.
Manning?
It's hard for me to predict because I think the 2019 season is so much of it is going to determine Kirk Cousins' future with the Vikings. If he has a really good season, if they go 11-5, 12-4, go to the NFC Championship game or even like the divisional round, we could be talking about a potential extension for Kirk Cousins. You sign an extension with him, then you're locked into him much longer, and then the Vikings would be higher up on this list. So I think it's going to depend on how the Vikings perform. I tend to think they're going to perform pretty well in wait, let me get the music back going here. There we go. I tend to think they're going to have a pretty good 2019 season. So I will guess that Kirk Cousins will get an extension after the 2019 season, and the Vikings will be locked in to Kirk Cousins for a few more years. So I think they will be around the same spot that they'll be right now, around 6th.
What's interesting to me is that Kirk Cousins left his old team, and he could do it again. He could say, all right, well, I'll make you franchise tag me if you want to keep me around after 2020, or he'll play the same dance again to try and get one more mega contract out of somebody else on the actual free agent market. It seems like that was his goal because Washington tried to keep him around with contract extensions, and he wanted to maximize his money and get fully guaranteed. I wouldn't count out that he could do the same thing again rather than signing an extension if they even want him to.
I was going to say, can you see them wanting an extension 1 year from now? How much would have to happen between now and a year from now for us to be talking about a Kirk Cousins extension that just or is about to happen?
See, I think Manny's right. If you get to the playoffs and you win a playoff game and you go 11-5 or something like that, I think the threshold's probably even 10-6. If he plays really well and they go 10-6 and they win a playoff game, I think they're talking to him about a contract extension because teams are so terrified of not having a solution at that position. Everyone talks about like, oh yeah, you just get the rookie quarterback contract and then you win. Like then profit, right? But what if the rookie isn't any good?
Right.
And that fear of uncertainty is why they signed him for so much money. All right. Second hot route, 23.
I still have no idea what
Zebra left.
What? I don't know what you're
You don't know
talking
what
about. I don't
zebra
know
left
what you're
is?
talking
That's
about,
the
Coller.
zebra
You got to grab that playbook there, Macloff. Got to do some studying, man.
All right, guys.
Again, first day of camp. You don't pay me to study in the offseason, man.
Second hot route. Joey Bosa changed his number to 97 to honor his father. What number would you pick? Doesn't matter position. What number would you pick if you had any selection of an NFL football number?
Doesn't matter position.
Doesn't matter position.
Because there's no way I'd be...
Because you guys can't play any position.
Right.
So it doesn't matter.
No, yeah, you're probably right. But it would have to... It would be number 34. It's got to be number 34 for Walter Payton. I mean, he holds a special place in my family. My nephew is named Payton because of Walter Payton. Yeah, so I don't think I have a choice in this.
I love 34 for Thurman Thomas for me, but I'll give a different one since you gave that. What about you, Manny?
84 for me for multiple reasons. Obviously, because Randy Moss is one of my favorite football players of all time, personally. And 84 was also the year I was born. So it kind of works hand in hand that way. So 84 would be my number.
I would pick 21 for...
34 was the year I was born, too. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
34. 21 for Neon Deion Sanders.
Nice.
In the backyard, we used to try to emulate every one of his touchdown dances and the high stepping. If you got away from everybody in the backyard, you were absolutely high stepping, and everybody wanted number 21.
At my previous stop in my radio career, I raced one of my co-hosts.
With your legs?
With my legs for a social media stunt. And I came dressed as Neon Deion Sanders.
Awesome.
I had on like silver shorts, high socks. I even had a headband that read prime time. I had on the sunglasses, the whole nine. And I lost.
That's amazing.
I lost.
I'm not surprised by that. Next hot round. Or 33.
What? What was that?
27 red left. Next hot round. All right. Gerald McCoy released by the Tampa Bay Bucks, Manny and Ramie. Who will sign Gerald McCoy? Great defensive tackle.
Who has cap room right now? Because this is late in the game for a guy of that magnitude to be getting released. I don't think teams were really planning. Like I hear, and maybe we can talk with Robert Mays about this at 12:20, but I'm hearing that the Jets are going to shop around Le'Veon Bell. I'd imagine most teams' salaries are set to the point where you can't slide in a Le'Veon Bell or a Gerald McCoy,
Not everybody is in Vikings land. There is probably half the league is over $10 million in cap space.
Really?
So
can you give me some of those teams before I formulate an answer?
Colts, Texans, 49ers, Browns, Titans, Raiders, Jets, Bills, Dolphins, Eagles, surprisingly, Seahawks, Lions.
I could see the Eagles
Bengals.
making a move. That seems like an Eagles type of move.
Fletcher Cox and Gerald McCoy.
They done to swoop in.
And Brandon Graham.
And get guys like that.
Cowboys have $19 million in cap space.
I think
That's
got
probably
right
my
past
guess.
it. They tend to swoop in, the Eagles.
I will go with
snatch up
It
guys.
didn't. It didn't.
I'll go with the Colts. What are the Colts? What's the Colts' defensive line situation like?
No,
Their
I
interior
think they
guys.
improved, but not that type of improvement. And with $58 million in cap space, it would make a ton of sense.
I'll go with the Colts.
Maybe McCoy would be looking for a Sheldon Richardson type of 1-year deal with somebody who he can win with.
Yeah.
And then, but you know who should never be counted out of this, despite their cap space, is the New England Patriots. They just
That's
always
true.
land these type of players.
That's true.
Because everybody wants to win. All right, here we go. Giraffe 43.
That's not a real thing.
Purple. Alert. All right, here we go.
What
Next
if a
hot
receiver looked at his quarterback on the first day of OTAs and he was like,
What?
dude, what?
All right.
Is that a thing? Is that a play?
Concentrate. 52 is the mic. Dwayne Haskins and Case Keenum are gridlocked after one day of OTAs in a quarterback competition.
QB battle.
No reporters put out the stats. We don't do that anymore, I don't think. Do people put out like, Eli Manning went 8 for 12 in OTAs?
They better. Or what are we doing, Matthew Collar?
How many throws will Case Keenum make this season for the Washington football squad?
Ooh, that's a good question. How many pass attempts will he actually make?
Attempts?
I'm going to give him 150.
Okay, so that's like
5 games or
5
so.
or 6 games.
Yeah.
I'll go 200.
So he makes it about half the season, maybe.
About 7 games, maybe something like that.
Do you guys think that he'll just be bad? They'll lose and they'll be like, bleep it. We gotta do
They're
this.
like 1
Now,
and 5, maybe.
I will tell you a quick story though from Case Keenum in training camp and why he could throw 0 passes this year potentially is through a couple of weeks of training camp 2017, the year that Case Keenum led the Minnesota Vikings to a 13-3 season. Going into the first preseason game, you can Google to confirm, there are articles written about how Taylor Heineke and Case Keenum are deadlocked in a backup quarterback
Awesome.
competition.
I actually remember that. Yeah.
Yes, behind Sam Bradford. Keenum is not a practice quarterback. Like, and if you saw him and Sam Bradford next to each other, you would understand what I mean. Sam Bradford in practice is freaking John Elway. He throws a better football than anyone I've ever seen in my life, even in comparison to Kirk Cousins. It's not close. Like the velocity, the accuracy on the ball, unbelievable for Sam Bradford.
Right.
Case Keenum throws wobblers. He doesn't maybe know the play right away and has to roll out and run. I mean,
he's like what
so
Ramie has
different.
been this segment.
Yeah,
Just like, what?
Yeah, I
What
have
are you
no
talking
idea.
about? What?
Did not study.
It was so
Case
different.
Keenum did not study. But on Sun? What is he like? Are his game day cleats magical? What is it?
I don't really mean that. I mean, he knew the offense by the time, but it would seem like he would like take the snap and he'd sort of look around and then try to run. And in training camp, that doesn't really look so good. And he eventually won the job because once he got into a preseason game, Case Keenum looked really, really good. But if they're judging it on training camp, Haskins has a really great chance. All right.